Okay, so the next topic is looking at personal spaces and the types of personal spaces. So the first one you can have is personal website. You can have an online photo album. You can have a personal page on a VLE. You can have space on a social networking site. You can have a blog, and you can have forums. Moving on to think about how you can personalise these personal spaces. You can personalise the colour scheme, so you can change the style and the colour of your page. You can change your profile picture. You can add text. You can subscribe to news feeds or change how it displays your feeds on your account. You can add photos, change or add your personal information, and change your likes and dislikes. When using any of these personal spaces online, you need to consider your access controls, so controlling who can access things on your personal site. So the first rule to really think about is think before you post. Think about what do you want people to see. Check your privacy settings. Who can see what you post on your account? Don't add people who you don't know. So just because you get a friend request from someone doesn't mean to say you need to add them. And the final way is to make your online albums private, so you control who sees the pictures that you post online. So these are the features you need to think about when using online spaces. Information can be collected when you're online in either an overt or a covert way. An overt way means that you know the information is being collected. Covert is the opposite of this, where you don't know the information is collected. So the first risk, if you like, online is spyware. Hackers can install software called Trojans to spy on your computer. Trojans record all of your keystrokes or take pictures of your screen. So once it's done this, hackers can then find out your personal and financial information to commit fraud. So that's spyware. The second risk that you need to be aware of is identity theft. And what identity theft is, it's where somebody finds out personal information and they are basically being you. They then use this information to open bank accounts and apply for loans, etc. The next area that you need to be aware of is cookies. Cookies basically track your browsing activity. So they look at what you're going on, which websites are you visiting, what are you viewing. An advantage of cookies, so they're not always bad, is when you go on the website, it remembers you. It can then provide personal information and provide a more personal service. It also allows you to customise a page, so you can, for example, change the colour settings of the background, and every time you go on that site, providing the cookie is still on your computer, it will remember you. You need to know how to control cookies, and you control cookies by setting your browser to accept all or some cookies, and you receive a prompt each time a cookie is offered. In light of the privacy concerns, as it were, the EU cookie law was introduced. The EU cookie law requires websites to get consent, so to get permission from visitors to store information on a device. The purpose of the EU cookie law is to protect online privacy, so it makes consumers know how the information is collected, and once it's collected, how the organisation will use this information. So that's the EU cookie law. The next security risk we're going to look at is a phishing email. The purpose of a phishing email is to get information out of people, so they're sent purely to get information. How to spot a phishing email. So you could in the exam be given an example of an email and you have to spot, if you like, the telltale signs that it's a phishing email. It will have an impersonal greeting, so it might say "Dear account holder" rather than your name. The tone of the email may also be threatening, so it might almost be demanding that you give information. The URL might appear genuine, but it isn't. so you click on it and it doesn't necessarily go to the bank's website. There might be spelling mistakes or grammatical errors in the email, which is a sure sign that it is a phishing email, and it will request personal information. If your bank had really sent the email, they would already know your account details and your card number, so they would never ask for this over email. The final section of the operating online topic is legislation. So the first legislation we're going to look at is data protection. Data protection covers data, and it's the Data Protection Act 1998. Under the Data Protection Act, companies have to keep our data secure, not ask for more data than necessary, not keep data any longer than necessary. They have to keep the data accurate and up to date, and they can't use it for any other purpose without our consent. So they have to use it for the purpose that they tell us initially they're going to use it for. The next legislation we're going to look at is the Computer Misuse Act, and there are 3 levels of crime. So the first level is unauthorised access to computer material, and this includes logging into another person's computer without their permission. It also includes stealing their documents and programs. The second level is unauthorised modification of computer material, and this includes destroying or corrupting another user's files or creating a virus. And the third stage, if you like, or the third level of crime is unauthorised access to a computer with intent. And this includes gaining access to a financial or administrative record with the aim of using the information to commit fraud or a further crime. And the final area to look at is copyright. And copyright protects people's work from being used without their permission. The consequences of illegal file sharing: you can be prosecuted, the internet service provider may prevent you from using the internet, you could be sent to prison, and it has had a huge impact on the music and film industry through people illegally sharing their work.